The Seattle Seahawks are standing at a crossroads. One win could change everything: momentum, confidence, and maybe even the story of their season. But here's the truth: victory this Sunday isn't about luck or talent, it's about execution. And there's one man who can light up the field and carry this team to glory. Jackson Smith-Njigba. This Sunday isn't just another game. It's a test of identity for the Seattle Seahawks. A chance to remind the league that this team can still control a game, with heart, precision, and pure willpower. To win, Seattle doesn't need a miracle. They just need a plan that starts with one simple command: feed the beast. Give the ball to Jackson Smith-Njigba. Let him cook. Let him take over. Because right now, this man isn't just playing well, he's redefining what it means to be unguardable. He's having one of the best receiving seasons in football, second only to Puka Nacua, and yet, teams keep making the same mistake: they try to play him one-on-one. Why? Why would anyone put him in single coverage when no defender in the league can keep up with his speed, his balance, his routes that cut through defenses like a blade? Every snap, every drive, he's creating opportunities that shift the game. In single coverage, he owns the best receiving grade in the NFL. He leads the league in yards and first downs against man coverage. That's not hype, that's dominance. And if you look back at his last 14 games, 12 times over 70 yards. The man is automatic. You can't stop him, you can only hope to slow him down. But here's the crazy part: it's not even about his touchdowns. He's not just scoring himself, he's setting up everyone else. He's the spark that turns field position into points. The quiet engine behind Seattle's offense. So if the Seahawks want to beat Jacksonville, it starts right there, with number 11. Let him loose. Keep him fed. Because when Jackson Smith-Njigba gets rolling, everything changes: the energy, the confidence, the rhythm. And if that happens, Jacksonville's defense might be in for a very long Sunday. What do you think, Seahawks fans? Should Seattle build the entire game plan around Jackson Smith-Njigba this week? Drop your take in the comments below. Rate your confidence in this offense from 1 to 10. When Jackson Smith-Njigba touches the football, the entire Seahawks offense wakes up. It's like a spark hitting gasoline. Suddenly, everything comes alive: the rhythm, the energy, the points. But when he doesn't, the whole system stalls. And that's the difference between a win and another heartbreak. Every offense has its heartbeat, and for Seattle, that pulse runs straight through Jackson Smith-Njigba. When he gets rolling, you can feel the energy shift. The crowd starts buzzing, the sideline gets loud, and suddenly, guys like A.J. Barner and Zach Charbonnet start to shine. Jackson sets the tone. He's the guy who drags this offense down the field, puts them in scoring position, and forces defenses to panic. He's not just another receiver, he's the spark. The straw that stirs the drink. The rhythm that makes this entire offense flow. That's why it's simple: he needs the ball once every drive. Period. If Seattle goes 3 and out and Jackson doesn't touch the football, that's not strategy, that's offensive malpractice. Yes, Sam Darnold's been impressive, quietly one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL right now, but even Darnold's success starts with number 11. Jackson Smith-Njigba has been the engine behind every explosive drive, every red zone setup, every touchdown that follows. And let's be real, how was this man left off those top 10 receiver lists earlier this year? It's almost disrespectful. But that won't last much longer. Not when he's playing like this. Not when he's forcing his name into the top 5 conversation with every route, every catch, every big moment. Now, if the Seahawks want to win Sunday, it's not just about what their offense does, it's about shutting down theirs. That means one mission for the defense: don't let Trevor Lawrence breathe. Make him uncomfortable. Make him second-guess every throw. Don't let him feed his playmakers, Travis Hunter, BTJ, none of them. Because when Trevor gets time, he can pick apart any coverage. But when that pocket collapses, when the pressure closes in, that's when the turnovers come. And this is where Seattle's defensive line must take over. When they rush just 4, they've been one of the most dominant units in football, only the Denver Broncos have matched their pressure numbers. That's elite company. When you can pressure the quarterback without blitzing, you control the game. The secondary stays locked in, the QB runs out of time, and drives die right there. But last week, the pressure slipped. And we saw what happens when this defense doesn't get home: open receivers, broken plays, and points on the board. That can't happen again. Not against a team like Jacksonville. If the front four gets back to being relentless, this game swings completely in Seattle's favor. What do you think, 12s? Should Seattle keep feeding Jackson Smith-Njigba every drive, or focus more on letting Darnold spread it around? Drop your answer below, and rate your confidence in the Seahawks pass rush from 1 to 10. If Seattle doesn't bring the heat this Sunday, Trevor Lawrence will pick them apart like a surgeon. But if the Seahawks defensive line wakes up the way they did in September, this could be the statement game that reminds everyone why Seattle's defense is built different. There's been a lot of talk around Seattle lately, fans, analysts, even former players, all saying the same thing: Mike McDonald needs to blitz more. And honestly, they've got a point. Last week, the Seahawks went conservative. They let Tampa Bay's offense breathe. Baker Mayfield had time, comfort, and rhythm, and the result was a defensive performance that felt flat. Just 1 sack. 1. For a defense that started the season leading the NFL in pressures and living in the backfield, that's just not good enough. Weeks 1 through 4, this defensive line was a nightmare. They were fast, violent, and unpredictable. Quarterbacks couldn't stand in the pocket for more than a heartbeat without feeling that blue and green swarm crashing in. But in week 5, that chaos disappeared. Now, heading into Jacksonville, the challenge gets even tougher. Trevor Lawrence has been surgical this year, only sacked 6 times all season. But that stat doesn't tell the whole story. Most of that protection isn't just about the offensive line, it's about Lawrence himself. He's mastered the art of getting the ball out fast, around 2.6 seconds per throw. That's lightning quick. Most pass rushers can't even get off their blocks that fast. So, what's the plan? If you can't get to him in time, you've got to disrupt his rhythm. That means tighter coverage from the secondary, no free releases, no open windows. Force him to hold the ball an extra half second. That's all this defensive line needs. And if you're a defensive lineman and you can't reach him, get your hands up. Start knocking passes down. Start making him think twice. Because the moment you make Trevor Lawrence hesitate, even for a split second, that pocket starts collapsing. He's already thrown 5 interceptions this year. That's your opportunity. Force him into mistakes. Make him feel that pressure again. But even if you slow down the passing game, you can't forget about the real silent killer in this Jaguars offense, Travis Etienne Jr. This guy has quietly become one of the most dangerous running backs in football. He's currently 4th in the NFL in rushing yards, and he's doing it with ridiculous efficiency, 5.8 yards per carry. That's nearly 6 yards every time he touches the football. You can't win if you let that happen. You can't give Jacksonville second and short all day. Etienne looks like the player everyone imagined when he came out of Clemson: explosive, patient, and smart. When he gets rolling, he wears defenses down, drive after drive, until they break. So here's the bottom line for Seattle: this defense needs to rediscover that early season fire. They need to get angry again. They need to bring that energy back: pressure, disruption, attitude. Because if they don't, Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne will run them right out of the stadium. What do you think, 12s? Should Seattle blitz more, or trust their front four to handle it? Drop your take in the comments, and tell me, who's the real X factor for this defense: Boy Mafe, Leonard Williams, or Devin Witherspoon? You saw what happened Monday night against Kansas City. Jacksonville didn't just win, they outlasted them. They wore that Chiefs defense down until it couldn't breathe anymore. That comeback wasn't luck. It was exhaustion. It was Travis Etienne running wild and a defense that just couldn't keep up. Seattle can't let that happen. Not again. The defensive front has to take control of this game early. That means the front seven, Tyrese Knight, Ernest Jones 4, Drake Thomas, and yes, even Nico Men in that big nickel spot, they've got to live in Jacksonville's backfield. Don't let Etienne get 5 yards a carry. Keep him under 3. Smother that run until they have no choice but to put the ball in Trevor Lawrence's hands. Make Trevor win it. Yeah, he was a can't-miss guy out of Clemson, but right now, he's been average. Just over 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Shoulder issues, timing issues, he's not the golden kid everyone thought he'd be. Force him to throw. Force him to make those tight window passes under pressure. That's when mistakes happen. And that leads to the biggest key of them all, win the turnover battle. You lost it last week against Tampa, and you saw how that ended. You can't let it happen again. Jacksonville thrives on turnovers. They've forced 14 of them already, 10 interceptions, 4 fumble recoveries, and that's why they're sitting at 4-1. They punch at the ball, they bait quarterbacks, and they play fast. Seattle? You haven't forced a single fumble all year. That has to change, right now. Flip the script. Create chaos. Pick off Trevor Lawrence. Strip the ball from Etienne. Every turnover gives your offense more time, gives your defense more rest, and takes Jacksonville out of their rhythm. Because if Jacksonville controls time of possession, you lose this game. But if you flip that turnover stat, if you hit back and take the ball away, this entire matchup changes. So here's the checklist, plain and simple: feed JSN. Pressure Trevor. Stop Etienne. Win the turnover battle. Do all that, and Seattle walks out of Jacksonville with a statement win.